YouTube script. 2025 Toyota GT Super vs 2025 Genesis G80. Focus. Exterior design and color options, approximately equals 1000 words. 0 to 008. Opening tease. Visual. Two silhouettes at dawn. Low, prowling GT Super on the left, poised Genesis G80 on the right. Slow drone arc, 45 degrees, pulling back to reveal both. Quick cuts. DRLs, wheel rotation, paint reflections. SFX. Mechanical whoosh plus low synth hit. VO, matter of fact, excited. Two very different visions of presence. One is a razor, the other is a chaise long. This is design versus presence. 009 to 030. Hero reveal, mission. Visual. 50mm slider pass along GT Super's front 3/4, then jump cut to 85mm compressed pass on the G80's shoulder. On-screen text overlay. Design. Sculpt versus surface. Color. Flare versus calm. Lens notes. 50mm for depth on GT Super, 85mm for G80's compressed luxury silhouette. VO. Today we're only talking exterior and color. How lines, light, and finish tell the story. No numbers. No specs. Pure presence. 031 to 120. Front-end language. Visual. Macro pass on GT Super splitter, active vents opening, cut to G80's crest grille and quad lamps. Camera. Handheld macro for details 24-70mm close, slow motion at 120 fps for vent actuation. Overlay callouts. Front active splitter, grille crest sweep, lights signature DRL blade. VO. The GT Super's front is about purpose. Low, aggressive, purposeful intakes and a slim DRL eyebrow. Every plane leans toward the track. Genesis is opposite. The G80's front is a statement of calm authority. A wide, jewel-like crest grille and layered lighting that reads as couture rather than function. 121 to 205. Side profile and silhouette. Visual. Long dolly arc, drone 40 meters altitude, showing full side profiles. GT Super. Taut fenders, fastback taper, rear overhang tucked. G80. Long wheelbase, soft greenhouse, shoulder line flowing like a tuxedo fold. VO. GT Super's silhouette is about tension, sharp haunches, exaggerated wheel-to-body ratio, minimal overhangs. It's taut. The G80 converses in long gestures, a broad shoulder, extended rear quarter, and a cab rear balance that reads as stately rather than sprinty. 206 to 250. Surface treatment and character lines. Visual. Macro flake shots on GT Super's hood crease, soft, grazing light on G80's surfacing. Use polarizer for paint flake macro. Overlay. Animated arrows showing crease flow and light channeling. VO. Look at how light behaves. GT Super uses crisp creases to slice highlights, hard edges that catch and then disappear into shadow. Genesis layers subtle convex volumes so highlights flow like silk. One car is chiseled, the other is sculpted with soft hands. 251 to 330. Wheel arches and stance. Visual. Low gimbal pass through wheel wells, 85mm to compress wheel gap. GT Super. Center lock forged wheels, flared arches. G80. Multi-spoke turbine-esque wheels, more restrained arches, longer overhang. VO. Stance tells a story. GT Super sits like a sprinter ready off the blocks, wide track, low ride, pronounced arches. The G80 sits like a diplomat, planted, poised, with measured wheel to arch proportions that emphasize length and comfort. 331 to 410. Light signatures and night presence. Visual. Dusk sequence, DRL animations, taillight signatures. Use long exposure passes for light trails. Overlay. Split screen animation showing DRL patterns. VO. Lighting as identity. The GT Super uses a signature katana slice DRL and a minimal taillight hook, fast, aggressive punctuations. Genesis uses layered jewel lighting. Full architecture lamps that glow like jewelry, and a taillight bar that reads as a continuous horizontal ribbon, authoritative and refined. 411 to 455. Aero and functionality cues. Visual. Track pass for GT Super, active aero moving. Highway cruise for G80, subtle aero vanes and underbody cover. Use slow-mo and cockpit POV for GT Super. VO. Function bleeds into form on the GT Super. Visible diffusers, active splitters, exposed vents that aren't aesthetic alone. Genesis hides its function beneath refined skin. Aero is present but polite. Vents and guides are integrated to keep surfaces pure. 456 to 540, materials and trim details. Visual. Close-up on carbon fiber highlights, exposed hardware on GT Super, chrome, brushed aluminum, and high-gloss piano black on G80. VO. GT Super's trim reads purpose first. Exposed carbon, visible fasteners, matte accents. The G80's materials are about tactility, polished chrome, satin metal badges, and lacquered trims that elevate the calm composition. 541 to 625, color strategy overview. Visual. Swatch board appears on-screen between the cars. Divide the board into two sections. GT Super, left Renaissance red, stratosphere blue, matte graphite, absolute zero white, high flake. G80 right, midnight onyx, regal blue, opal silver, ivory pearl. Provide swatch labels and texture notes, metallic flake, mica depth, satin versus gloss. VO. Color choices aren't accidental. GT Super's palette is emotional and aggressive. High chroma reds and deep blues that animate creases and scream presence on track. G80's palette is restrained and opulent. Jewel tones and pearls that soften volumes, and red is executive. 626 to 710. How color changes perception. Visual. Side-by-side comparisons. Same camera pass with different paint. Use gradient lighting to show how each finish reacts. VO. A red GT Super makes the creases sing. A matte graphite turns it into a stealth predator. For the G80, midnight onyx deepens the grille and makes the car seem denser and heavier. Opal silver reveals the surfacing and lends a lighter, almost modern classic presence. Finish matters. Satin versus gloss alters perceived mass and luxury. 711 to 750. Accent and personalization options. Visual. Detail shots of brake caliper colors, roof wraps, two-tone options, and wheel finishes. Overlay text lists available personalization. Caliper, red, yellow, black. Roof, carbon, body, pinstripe, thin, contrast. VO. GT Super leans into performance accents. Colored calipers, exposed carbon roofs, stripe packs for track identity. Genesis packages personalization as subtlety. Contrasting roof linings, pinstripes on luxury trims, and choice of wheel faces that change the mood without shouting. 751 to 830. Photography and filming tips for creators. Visual. Quick cut montage of camera setups. Text bullets. Golden hour. Use 50mm slider. Polarizer for flake. 85mm for compressed luxury. Low angle for aggression. 25-35mm for interior to exterior context shots. VO. Want to film these cars? For GT Super, shoot low at golden hour and use a polarizer to reveal flake on bright colors. For G80, compress with an 85mm or longer lens to emphasize length and use gentle pans to let light caress the surfacing. 831 to 905. Design philosophy sum up. Visual. Final hero pass. GT Super does a hard apex. G80 cruises past in stately motion. VO. At the core, GT Super is an exclamation. Razor-focused, track-bred presence that broadcasts intent. The Genesis G80 is an ellipsis. Long, considered, a presence that lingers. Both are expert communications. One says, attack, the other says, arrive. 906 to 930, closing and call to action. Visual. Side-by-side sunset silhouette. On-screen text. Which school of presence wins for you? VO, warm. Which do you prefer? The sculpted aggression of the GT Super or the composed luxury of the G80? Hit the comments. Tell us your color and which camera lens you'd use to shoot it. If you liked this visual deep dive, subscribe, smash that like, and hit the bell for the next design showdown. SFX. Soft swell, mechanical click. B-roll and edit notes, short list. Macro paint flake pass, polarizer, 120 fps. Wheel in motion with lens flare, 50mm. DRL animation loop. Dusk. Swatch board reveal with animated swatches sliding in. Overlay icons for crease, volume, light, on split screen. Thumbnail suggestion, one line, GT Super in Renaissance Red vs G80 in Midnight Onyx. Close-up of headlight versus grille, dramatic shadow split. End script.